Hiya Chris, great to meet up with you the other day and do some further work on your game. Obviously after a little bit of a layoff, old habits tend to get slipped back into. You can see here, accumulate 3 rolling and loading too much too soon. Club going behind and fanning open slightly. That in turn sets up the whole reaction and chain reaction of getting too deep. Accumulate 4, not really loading a great deal. And then from there, that right elbow gets dropped in a little bit too much behind the right hip, causing us to get a little bit stuck, underplaying, and then we've got to flatten out the back of that right wrist, losing the flying wedge, coming through impact, a little bit of a scoopy movement, leads to a number of mishits and certainly a little bit of an issue in regards to your low point. So done a number of things here. We've had the towel laid down on the ground about maybe 10, 12 inches behind the ball to tighten up the radius of the swing somewhat and give the angle of attack some descent. We've also talked about swinging or trying to hit some shots that are just pulls. This in your case tends to accumulate 3 rolling a touch less, and more importantly accumulate 4 travelling further. Another good thought for you on that one is to extend in the backswing. We use the analogy of the axeman, and we've also used the idea of just trying to propel the butt of the club as far as possible during the backswing, and you can see when you do that you're arriving in much better position. We'd like to see accumulate 3 rolling as we see here, doing very little from P1 to P2 before then starting to load from P2.5 to maybe 2.4. Much better position however on the bottom left. From there what we want to try and achieve is this right elbow getting down in front of the right hip. So it's the movement of the right elbow from the top of the backswing, and we want to try and get the feeling, we want to try and get the mechanics of the right elbow getting more in front of the right hip, so a little bit more of a pitch elbow, which in turn will allow us to make an online move through the golf ball rather than a sort of around the corner slap that we've got to make at present. So here we have the elbow dropping a little bit too much in behind the hip, getting stuck under, and then we've got to try and release and flatten out the back of the right wrist, causing us on occasion to hit out excessively with quite a high rate of closure. Whereas here we'll try and work the right elbow in front of the right hip more, and you can see the act of doing that is bringing the club more out in front of you. May need to add a little bit of hip slide in there just to get that club back in line, but you can see the effect of the first move from 4 to 5 and 4 to 5.5. The elbow, the path of the elbow affecting the shaft of the club, and from there now we exit lower with a reduced rate of closure on the club face. So a lot of work on that right elbow, the manner in which that works from P4 to P5.5, and then start to gradually work the hip slide in there to keep the club in, as we see with Charlie Wee on the top right footage. Good luck with it, and I look forward to working with you again in the coming weeks. Well done.